Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Today is Tuesday, June the 16th, 2020. You ready, Ms. Kidd? You're looking in? Okay. Like we said yesterday when we adjourned that we'd have the Honorable Ms. Kathy Gwynn come up here and propose how she is cutting her budget to give other people here some money.
Okay.
Did I misunderstand that?
All right. No, you're not. I'm cutting it a little bit, as much as I can. So, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Of course, because of everything that this happened this year, we're not asking for anything for our, as far as my clerks and myself and my part-time person. We're going to keep those all at the same rate. What I am cutting is my copier lease has gone down about $600. We got a new copier about the first of the year, and so that's going to cut that $600 there. And then our education, travel, and expenses, I'm cutting by $500. Mine's a little bit higher than the other judges just because of me living out in Acton. The only time that I use that is when I'm on call, and that's coming in to do magistrations, go out on DOSs, and any mental warnings that I have to do, or if it's with, as far as it's any juvenile warnings, anything like that. So that's the only time that we use that, except when we go to school. We're using our technology fee a little bit more because they've kind of, in the last legislative session, they've opened that up a little bit to where we can use our technology fund for travel for our clerks and myself when we're going to our educational events. So, and then small equipment, we moved that out of there and put, just kept our supplies in there at the $2,000. So, ends up being about a $350, that we can reduce it a little bit. So.
Okay, what about, we got here on this sheet here, dues and subscriptions and books, publications and subscriptions.
Right, that did not change.
Okay, so.
Because a lot of times when there's a legislative change, we like to at least have one copy of especially the traffic code and things like that.
Scratch them too?
So that remains at zero for a change, as a difference.
Zero change.
Zero change.
So there should be $300 in it.
There should be, no, the dues, books, and subscriptions is at $600, and that's not changing,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Is that what you have?
Books,
Yeah.
publications, and subscriptions, you get, so we got
There wasn't any money spent in that for several years, so we just put that at zero. If something comes up, we
Okay.
will fix our budget.
Okay.
Okay,
Because I don't know what may come up, but if I go 3 years back and we haven't spent any, we need to move it to zero. They may buy something the fourth year, and but that can also be paid for out of dues, books, and subscriptions. I don't know why we had these two lines.
Yeah.
They're kind of redundant to have to, so. I've inactivated almost, well, this one is now inactivated. The books line account is inactive.
Right.
So you shouldn't see it anymore.
okay. Any questions at all?
So in reality, there's a $1,100 cut in your budget, right?
Yes, sir.
600 and 500,
Right.
okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Good job.
All righty. Thank you, gentlemen.
Judge.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Clint Head.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
morning.
Let her rip, corn chip.
Okay. Looks like we moved a little from contract services. Where is it? To increase advertising and then add $500 to the school. Advertising is because we have a trend of more public hearings, and we had to do a budget amendment 2 courts ago to add more money, so Just trying to make up where we don't have to do that next year. And the rest of it, we really don't have a history. We cut a little, but I don't have nothing to go by, so.
Back services.
I know we missed it when environmental health come up here, and I caught it early this morning, and he's going to use environmental health's copy machine instead of him buying one for his office, and she may need to fluff that up a little bit for him using that. We forgot to address it, and thought I'd bring it up now, because he's going to share her copier instead of buying one for his office, and it'll be a,
She can go down and use ours too. We'll spread it around.
yeah.
That way
So-
nothing should go up.
So we just wanted to bring that up. She missed it, we all missed it, and I forgot about it. Also, I like to bring this up. Clint went and took a test for the flood. Clint is our floodplain manager. He went and took the test, passed it with flying colors, and what was the pass ratio on that test for all these high-paid engineers and all that? I mean, the pass ratio, I mean, some of them had to take it
28 out of
3 or 4
60 passed.
times. How many?
28 out of 60.
Yeah, and I know the previous environmental guy took it, and I think he took it 3 or 4 times before he got it. Clint aced it the first time, and, you know, we always try to reward our employees with certification pay, and I think, you know, with the floodplain putting on him, plus Development Commission, I would ask the court to give him a certification pay of $1,200 a year. That's about $100 a month, if the court would agree to that.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, people don't realize that floodplain deal, it's a hard test, and Clint really worked hard on, and he aced it. I mean, he aced it the first time, and
And he's right in the middle of a bunch of them, aren't you? Orchards on the Brazos.
I think Becky puts that in the books. I think that'd be
I
a
got
big
it.
Caught him too, didn't you?
Yeah.
5 feet, it's pretty good
that,
distance.
Clint.
Huh?
You good with that?
I'm perfectly good with that. I wasn't expecting it this time.
No, he's going to be real nice and turn it down.
Yeah. But anyway, I
Or we can wait till,
appreciate the court
we
thinking of about
can
that.
wait till next year if if we have to.
No, better get it now. May be worse next year.
Keep them in line. That could have a lot of ramifications with that flooding, you know?
So you have a motion and a second,
Yes.
and vote on it?
We gonna vote on
Well,
it?
no, we don't have to vote on it. I mean, it's just, we're doing the budget, and this is just a recommendation, put it on the budget.
Which we haven't done the final, so it'll be
That's
in the
correct.
final
This is-
when
this
you
is just
come
a-
back.
That's a good point, Katie, but these are all recommendations, and when we finally approve the final budget, that's when we do that. And that's a good point, though. I appreciate you watching our back.
Just wanted you to know how we feel about it.
Thank you.
Okay, okay.
And I, you know, I don't want to give Clint a big head, but, you know,
Too
you
late.
always ask him, can you do this, can you do that? And he says, whatever I can do, what's best for Hood County. He's a team player, and I appreciate all he does. So don't get the big head on that.
That's it? Thank you.
Thank you, Clint.
Thanks.
Okay, CPS. No, nobody for CPS? Child Advocacy. You gonna speak on that, Sheriff?
Vice President standing back here, just walked in the room, but
Yeah, but you're El Presidente, aren't you?
no, I'm just on the board now. So
Oh, that's right, you were.
Vice President is
Okay,
Judge, if we could wait for our executive director, that'd be great.
all right.
but the senior center is ready to go.
Ma'am, please approach.
I
How are you doing, Jen?
I am the president of the Hood County Committee on Aging, and I'm here to present to you our executive director, Jeanette Scott.
She does a great job, too.
Good morning. So this year, we are asking for $75,000. It's the same that we've asked previous years. You know, we want to up it, but we're not going to this year. We're going to work on our fundraising and make sure we let the community help out, too.
The community chipped in a lot bringing food up there. You and I were talking about that.
They did a fabulous job. They, you know, during the last few months, we've been handing out shelf-stable meals, And I personally didn't think that was enough food for our clients. And so we created what we called a bonus bag that had about 7 cans of soup and some crackers and lots of good snacks like peanut butter and other things that people could put together something to eat. And the community donated all that food for us. So we had bonus bags going out the door every time, and it was a big load for our Meals on Wheels drivers, but they managed, and our clients got some good food. But we are cooking hot meals now. So yesterday we served meatloaf, and we got 1 million compliments. So yeah, everybody's very happy to have the hot meals back.
Yeah. You should have asked Dave Eagle. He's an expert on meatloaf. He can tell you whether it's good or not.
Yeah, I need to come check it.
You should.
He's the Meatloaf Inspector for the county.
Every second Wednesday is Meatloaf Day. And right now, the dining room is not open for congregate meals, but we're doing a drive-through for them, and we had about 40 people drive through yesterday to get meatloaf. So I kind of joked that we looked like the Chick-fil-A drive-through yesterday.
Well, you do a great job there, and they all like you very much. Don't you agree with that,
We
Sheriff?
appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah, we were very fortunate to have her apply for the job, and it's been great ever since. So she does a great job staying on top of everything, the employees, the volunteers, and keep moving forward. So things are going good, and we're happy to have her.
Yes. Good job. Anybody have anything else? Just keep up the good work.
Are we delivering meals now?
Yes. Yeah, last week, we trained all our volunteers on our new procedures. We're doing kind of a safe distancing delivery and giving everybody all the PPE equipment they need so they can do it safely. And we are delivering to the most vulnerable people, so we want to make sure everybody stays healthy. And I had invited everybody on the court to come deliver, and then all this happened, so that went out the window, but we'll invite you again, probably in the fall when things are back to normal, and we always like to show off what we're doing.
Good.
Will you
I'll be there.
this line? Since
I enjoy doing that, though. You see another side of Hood County when you do that. It's good people.
how much I
During the quarantine time,
So it's under,
I got cell phones for our whole staff.
oh, that's right.
And the staff called our clients every day to check on them and talk to them.
Got it.
So instead of visiting them every day with a meal, we were calling them every day. We tended to build some relationships there that we didn't have before. So that turned out to be a really good thing, and all our cooks in the kitchen got to know clients personally, and they really enjoyed that.
75,000.
Because they don't get to go out and see them.
Gotcha.
So our cooks have been delivering during this time and meeting clients and talking to them on the phone. So it's been a positive experience for us.
Well, you could take my wife and let her introduce her to those cooks. Maybe she could pick up some tips.
No, I'm not going there.
I hope she didn't watch this tape.
Hey, Katie, would you earmark the timestamp on that statement, please?
She is on that board with you, isn't she?
Yes.
I figured that.
Yes.
Well, tell her to go in there and inspect the kitchen, get to know some of that kitchen help. Okay?
Well, she was a big supporter of ours during this whole time, and she helped drum up some support with the good old boys, so
Yeah, she told me.
there's other things she's doing that have helped us quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a good old boy sitting right behind you there. We raised some money on that deal, didn't we?
Yes, yes.
Yep. She hit me up for it. I know that. Well, good. You do a great job, and you got some happy people there too. You know, they really are. I mean, there's always a few old grumps around, but by and large, the people are very happy, and you plan a lot of great activities for them and stuff, and So you do a great job.
We have, since we can't do our activities in the senior center, we're doing them on Facebook Live now. And the one activity that everybody was requesting, overall, it was the most popular, was our gospel sing-along. So yesterday morning, we went live with our gospel sing-along on Facebook, and it lasted an hour and a half, went a half an hour over schedule, and everybody's been rewatching it over and over and over. We've had about 300 views of it as of this morning.
Good.
And so we're just going to start doing everything that way until we get back open.
Good. Good for you. Good for you. Good job. Good job. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for your support.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we got CPS. Are we here yet?
Children's Advocacy Center's here.
I was out in the lobby, I apologize. It was early.
Okay.
You want me to go ahead?
Come on up.
Which one is this one?
Children's Advocacy.
Advocacy Center.
Lexi River Children's Advocacy Center. We're number,
Good morning.
good morning, how are you, Judge
Good.
Masvidal?
Good.
It's
Good
nice to see
you.
all these faces. I think most of you know me, but if not, I'm Margaret Cohenauer. I'm the Executive Director at the Lexi River Children's Advocacy Center, and wanted to just thank y'all for your support. You've been very generous with us, and we greatly appreciate it. And then just for those of you who may not know us, I wanted to give you a brief overview of what we do. We're created, Children's Advocacy Center, to provide a safe place for children who have been victimized sexually or physically abused. And we coordinate with law enforcement, prosecution. I have these two wonderful gentlemen here that are on our board, and we work closely with them and with Child Protective Services to provide a safe place for a child to tell their story one time. Wanted to let y'all know that we did stay open during this pandemic that we've had. We're considered an essential service. Children still get abused. We've been very concerned that we don't have eyes on all these children, so we had to get very creative, but we are providing a lot. I think if you've read the newspaper, a lot of articles about child abuse, trying to raise awareness and prevention. So we focus on forensic interviews, family advocates, outreach and education and prevention, and then we have counseling services to help with the healing. So we hope to help the child get justice with the interviews, and those go to law enforcement and prosecution. And then we have advocates that work with those families all the way through. And then once the court stuff happens and families need to start healing, and sometimes even before then, we will provide counseling services for as long as those children need. So we've been doing a lot of that remotely right now, telehealth counseling, which we did not do before, and have been able to engage families. And we do have families coming back into our offices as well. And just wanted to let you, we are open and providing those services, and would appreciate your continued support. If you can do what you did for us last year, that's awesome. If you have extra money in the budget, we're always gladly going to take it, because we're still needing to provide those essential services, these victim services, and keep us going. So just thank you so much for these few moments. And Roger, Ryan, did y'all have anything you want to add about what we do? You've been around longer than me. Okay.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
During this pandemic, did you see a rise in numbers?
We actually haven't yet, and we're not sure what we're going to
Take
come up
time to
with.
find out.
We have seen the interviews start to increase, but I would say we're probably about 30% lower than last year, which means that when we start to see more in the community, we don't think that means less children are being abused, unfortunately. So we've been doing a lot of stuff on, we created a YouTube channel, and we're doing a lot of our prevention and safety classes on YouTube, and we send it out to all the counselors in schools before school was out. And so still trying to stay engaged and get the message out as much as we can, and we are starting to see the reports come in again. But CPS across the state has seen a drop in their calls, and that's very, very concerning for us.
You're strictly a volunteer organization under CPS, or
No,
totally different?
we're nonprofit. We're one of 71 children advocacy centers. We cover over 200 counties in Texas.
Wow.
And huge goals. We would love to eradicate child abuse in Texas. We've reached about 71,000 kids across the state in the past year, and feeling like if that's only 1 in 10 children who will ever tell, that number could be huge. And so we have a pretty lofty mission to get our message out. So we've really started doing more around prevention and education to supplement and support what we do with the the victims of the crimes.
That's great.
We're going to still,
Advocacy Center started 14, 15 years ago. It was put together by the district attorney here in the county at that time, local law enforcement. And it's, back in the day when I was a deputy, we'd go try to talk to these kids, and they don't want to talk to some ugly old looking deputy or something. So this is a great system the way it works. So they get involved, they do the interviews, the counseling, helps the healing right away with those kids. And then the district attorney can use all that information for prosecution on down the road. So it's a great system put in place quite a few years ago, and it works great. Some of the reason for the downturn right now, everything's slacking off, is because school's been out. The school is always on top of things with the kids. So with this coronavirus, it's kind of messed things up. So I believe there's still victims out there that haven't been found out and haven't been made known to us yet. So that's unfortunate, but we're there to help. So.
Thank you, Roger.
and they're trained so that the testimony that the children are getting is not thrown out of court, right?
Correct.
By the leading and stuff of that nature.
Well, Judge, really the main thrust of the Children's Advocacy Center model is to reduce the trauma that a child victim of either physical or sexual abuse suffers throughout the investigative process. Beforehand, before the CAC model came into being, the child may have to retell their story about what happened numerous times to CPS investigator, to law enforcement, to prosecution. But the CAC model is designed to reduce the number of times that they have to retell that story, because every time they tell it, it re-traumatizes the child. So they tell it to a trained forensic interviewer, and that testimony may or may not come into trial. It depends on the facts of the case, but it does reduce the trauma that the victim of the abuse suffers. And then after that forensic interview, then the CAC staff come alongside both the victim and the non-offending family members and provide counseling, therapy sessions, things like that. So it's designed to really hold the hand of the victim and the non-offending family members through the whole process and reduce the trauma.
It's an excellent deal. Are y'all going to still have that party? Don't y'all have a
We have a
fundraiser?
gala planned for July 25th. It's our third attempt, and we're hopefully very cautiously optimistic that we can. We're going to limit the capacity to the 50%, even though I know things have opened up, try and space people out. But it'll be at La Bella Luna, and
It's going to be a masquerade ball?
we have thought about that in gloves. It's a Cinderella ball gala, so you know. We'll be very creative and want to keep everybody safe, but we're very optimistic and moving forward now that we're going to be able to hold that event. So, yes, I hope so. Yes, thank you very much. Any other questions?
We're earmarking 18,000 in the budget, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And we really appreciated that. Thank you for your generosity, and we hope that you can continue to support us. And please come for a tour if you're.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Where exactly are you located physically?
We're over on Southtown Drive, across from the courtyards. It's a assisted living, senior citizen, kind of real close to Harbor Lakes.
Oh, okay.
Kind of back behind
Yeah.
Aldi's and Charter Spectrum. So there's a
Okay.
little shopping center in there, and we love to do tours. We're doing them by appointment right now. We've had people making appointments and coming through. It's a good time to come see because we're limiting the number of people that can be in there at one time. Would love for y'all to come check it out.
Okay,
Okay?
great, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, who's next now? Who's next? Y'all recognize?
Transit.
Transit, Historical Commission, Extension Agent?
Call Brady and get him up here.
That'd
I have
be
a
good.
question on the Historical Commission. Is that, no, I'm thinking of economic development, never mind.
The Benton County Historical Commission, $5,000.
Is that under auditor?
Yes.
Yes. And
We call
I
Brady.
also wanted to ask you gentlemen, we have, public assistance is in two separate budgets. I would like to move it all into public assistance, get it out of general administration and move it all into the category of public assistance. It'll all be in one. We can always run a detailed report, make sure this is paid. It's just moving it to a different budget. Actually, it's moving it to a budget you manage, Judge. 6,400, and that way it's all captured in one fund, and there's no hunting and finding and.
I support that.
Two things that the kid in this county needs the most is the kids from sexual and physical abuse, emotional abuse, I guess, too, and then the senior citizens. And I think we've got two real good department heads on that that really do a great job on that.
And I qualify for both. I'm a kid and a senior.
Yeah.
A kid is hard, at heart.
Dave is giving me a look.
Yeah. Well, let's see, who else? I wonder who's coming on Historical Commission. I'll call. Is Christy Massey head that up?
Hey, Brady, we're running ahead of schedule. Can you come on down? Okay, thank you, sir. Bye. He's on his way. They didn't show last year.
Acting,
Letter from the appraisal district.
Mr. Rowe.
Becky on CPS, I cannot find it on my sheet.
CPS, let's see. Because it's in the judges, it's in 6,400, 010, 6,400. That's why I'm saying I want to get them all in one because they're hard to,
I found it, yeah. Would it be in sheriff or judge?
it's going to be in judge because it's public assistance and that's where we pay for cremations and there's another line in there. So it's in 010, 6,400 and it should be behind county judge. If it's not, it's in mine. But I think it's in with the judges.
I remember last year I had to look for it.
But I will move everything into public assistance and make it easier.
under public assistance under the judge, under Hood County CPS Board.
So you see, I mean, there's two entirely separate funds for public assistance, basically.
Yeah. Public assistance. While we're on that one, Becky, that mental commitment hearings is,
It's in there too. I'm
yeah,
gonna move-
but you've taken it for 20,000, taking 19,000 out of 20? They're not doing that anymore? Wow. That's what the numbers show, huh? They're just not using it. You took 19,000 out of 20, that's a pretty good cut. 6,440,410?
That's the judge's, he cut that.
Wow.
If it's 6,400, that's his cut.
Yeah, that's him.
Insurance, auto allowance, what?
Mon Valley, are they going to be here? They're on the list? No, they're not. Usually we get that Con Valley guy, too.
Yeah, I think he was on yesterday, they said.
And then this didn't show. He's increasing.
Shay, what do you want?
Nothing, I just came to visit because I knew he couldn't stay very long, so.
Oh. I just didn't want to be overlooking you
No,
there.
you're
In case you Legal services went down.
Becky, don't we have economic development in the budget for next? It's
It's behind auditor and.
Behind auditor?
4090, general
It's
administration.
about fifth line down.
It's 100,000.
So that's why you're here. You can get up on talk on that? Economic development, yep, okay. It wasn't on the list. Must have been on there yesterday.
Yeah, Cotton Valley was set for 4:15 yesterday, didn't show.
That's because we weren't there. He was looking at the.
Dave, in your work papers, when you see their budget, if you look at that, you're going to have the 19 budget, 19 activity, 20 budget, and 20 activity. So that'll give you an idea of 6 months. I do exactly 6 months worth of expenditures. So that will also give you an idea of where we were at 6 months.
Okay.
Oh, last year on the Acton Nature Center, we did some swapping out on some road work or something, didn't we?
We did.
And, yeah, I was thinking we did, and I don't think they asked for anything last year. I can't remember. There's the man. Come on down. We're running way ahead.
Good. 45 minutes early, I surely wouldn't have been late. Good morning, good morning.
Extension.
County extension or county?
County extension. Under agri-life. 150, supplies, vehicle, education, agent travel education. Okay, what have you got? You see what the budget looks like?
Yes, sir. So looking at that and that report that came from Ms. Kidd, you know, that total deduction of just over 2, going back and looking at historic expenses, don't see any issues with us operating the next year with that. The reduction of small equipment within supplies, we shouldn't have a technology update this year, which is usually that main expense that comes out of that small equipment. So that shouldn't be an issue for us. Some line item differences with the travel between myself and the second agent would be kind of the only thing to change how those lines lay out with that same total. But other than that, everything seems pretty peachy.
So you're good with what you see right now?
Yes, sir. Total bottom line, yes, sir.
What's the plans on new employee? You got any forecast on that?
So as of right now, the only word I have an understanding is we're still in a hiring freeze as a state agency. I know the director's message that recently went out was talking about not knowing what that next budget year looks like for us coming as a state agency. And so they've put ourselves up for success in place, knowing that with all the open positions we had at the time of the pandemic, none of those have been filled unless they were extremely necessary or higher up positions. And so with that, they've alleviated some of their dollar coming out of their pocket every month with those positions not being filled. And so the outlook of when those positions are going to be allowed to be filled at the county level, we have not been given that direction. But we had those candidates lined up, ready to go post-interview, and the message came down from the state to Donald, the DEA, of, hey, you've got to stop where you're at right now. So we were in hot pursuit and then cut off cold. So yes, sir.
On your education and travel expenses, I know pandemic hit right there, I think the Houston Livestock Show, and you missed 2 or 3 shows because of
Yes, sir.
this. You're good, you're traveling.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, you look at total, we're going to finish out the year with probably upwards of 16 grand left over. That's a combination of travel and salary left over. You're looking at 20% left over from the end of the year that we would have unspent. And that 20% comes from that salary. A lot of that from that agent that hasn't been here since March, and most likely will not be maybe through the end of the year. And on that travel, a lot of my budget, I mean, as of right now, you're still looking at $4,300 left, which, you know, the first week of March, I was cut off through traveling basically through the end of April like I normally would have. And so those dollar amounts here, yes, that, you know, total education and expense equaling 10. My only request would be that the year before, prior to a normal year, I spent $5,800 in travel, and we just had maybe 3 on the SCH position. And so changing those to a 6 and a 4 would be the only line item difference I would have, but that same 10 allowing us education and travel. So
So $5,000, that's not going to cut you short, right?
no, I just looking back, I had spent $5,800 the year before, and so you look at the two between $41,500 and $42,530. Between the 2 agents, there's 10 grand allotted for education and travel. And so that 10 would definitely get us down the road. The only thing I think would suit us better is having 6 in my travel line and 4 in the other agent line, just because of the nature of our positions and the travel that I do versus maybe the other agent would.
Which one is yours?
Mine is $41,500.
You want that to be 6?
Yes, ma'am. And then the $42,530 is the other agent, and then taking that down to 4. And I think that 6 and 4 split would kind of suit us a little bit better from having to transfer things from line to line later in the year.
That's easy.
So are you still understanding, I think I've heard something bannered about the state's revenues are going to be looking to be down like 9%, maybe 10%. Have you got any feel on that, or from?
As far as number-wise, no, sir. I know that from that director's message that talked about where the money was having to be saved because they hadn't filled positions, there was upwards of $100-some million that we were having to give back to the state. I guess because of the pandemic and how things were working from a legislative budget standpoint. And so I know there's a lot of dollars that we're having to cut across the board as an agency, trying to make sure things stay afloat. We keep running as best we can. And their main thing was just those open positions that had been there across the state. They've just held those on a freeze and not allowed any new hires to come in for county level positions for sure. But as far as those numbers of 9%, I have no idea what that cut's going to look like across the state.
Yeah, I think I've heard, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were talking 9.3% or something like that.
Okay.
You know, the governor was basically making statements that everybody needed to lower their, watch their budget. We've got 9% less revenues coming in, and basically telling all the counties, sending a message to all the counties to look, shoot for that kind of a number.
Yes, sir.
Pretty big cut.
Yes, sir. And as a state agency, I think that's what's kind of the hardest part for our upper management trying to understand is how do you keep going as a state agency that's fully funded, profit type business? How do we keep doing what we're doing? And so their biggest thing, I think, at the first was knowing that, hey, salary is probably a lot of our expense. And so those open positions, not opening those back up and not hiring those out was, I think, where a lot of our savings was going to keep us going forward. Obviously some of their office stuff not operating for a long time, I think will help as well. So we'll see by the end of this year kind of what we look like as an agency. There's really no telling.
Becky, while we got him here, I know capital improvements are at 10:45. He's kind of wanting to do something on capital improvements. Can you go ahead and talk about it now instead of coming back? About your trailer.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know this. Brady come and talked to me about it, and I thought we had a trailer, but we don't. And I guess the previous county agent used his own trailer. I don't know how it worked. Anyway, he had kids showing and he'd take stuff, but we have never had a trailer, and I know there's some kids that get in the bind. They don't have a way to get their stuff to stock show. And Brady come to me, I said, well, put together a package, and if we can do it, we can, we can't. But go ahead, Brady, and present this.
So the request is for a livestock trailer that could haul with our 4-H youth program. It'd be obviously county-owned, but serving probably the 75% of what my day-to-day task look like, is serving the youth of Hood County with their livestock projects. And so this was a package put together with, actually ended up with 4 different quotes on a 16 or 17-foot aluminum bumper pull. Going with aluminum because of many reps I talked to, they honestly said probably with an aluminum trailer, they said it'll probably be in Hood County longer than you are if you take care of it right. Versus a steel trailer, which usually rust out a lot faster. They said this is going to be probably the biggest bang for your buck. Working with those livestock kiddos, they said you're going to keep this a long time. They said ideally you'll retire before this trailer gets retired or repurchased. And so that quote number 1, being from the NRS dealer out of Decatur, Texas, their total, go ahead, sir.
Is that a picture of it, the second page?
Yes, sir. And that second page would be a picture of that model, what that would look like. That nose color may be a little bit different coming out of their factory, but that's their base model there with our options shown. And their price, sale price on that to me would be $21,200. With a MRS price of just over $27,000. So taking that down 6, knowing they're working with 4-H youth program and a county government, they kind of wanted to make the sale to me, but also know, hey, you're not a for-profit person. You're turning around doing this for your 4-H program. So they gave me the price they felt would get me out the door, but also they wouldn't be losing money on that. Throwing in the rest of those quotes to kind of show a lot of comparison. Number 2 is obviously $200 cheaper than number 1. But put that in there to show that at a base model, without the pin system on the inside, which I have some pictures of here.
This is number 2.
How much? 21,000?
And so that quote number 1 would come with a pin system you see in that picture there, which allows us the opportunity on many different species to divide those up for humanity purposes on them. If you're carrying multiple species somewhere, those pins are completely removable. So you could do a half open for stock and half of those with pins. Pigs like to root, goats like to fight. This keeps that opportunity for separating out those animals. Ideally, we're hauling multiple families to let them get down the road. And so having them being able to separate their animals, infections, bugs, things like that, you're separating those out as well. And so that quote number 2, it's obviously $200 cheaper than quote 1. But trailer number 2 does not come with that pin system or the rubber mat flooring, which keeps that floor a lot longer. The health of those animals is in better shape with that rubber floor versus aluminum. And even on quote 2, he quoted me on mats, and that's a $784 charge. So we've already made our money on 1 by having 1 with the mats versus number 2. Looking at...
Is 2 aluminum or steel?
They're all aluminum,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Number 1's got the gates, the pins, and the other one doesn't.
So number 2 does not have the pins on it, no, sir. And then 3 and 4 are going to be the most identical to number 1. 3 and 4 both having that mat system, that pin system, very identical to number 1. But as you can see, as they've broken it down some in there, on number 3, they value the pin system at $4,800. And number 4, they value their pin system at $7,000. And so I think a lot of value with that number 1. You can kind of see what other people and their dealerships value some of those systems and those options for their particular system. You're looking at 21.2 versus some of these others. We're looking at 23 and 28. And so try to do my due diligence across the board of getting different people, getting different opinions, trying to get as many options as we could, and saying, hey, who's really going to work with us the most and allow us the best opportunity to serve these kiddos. because the main goal with this is to open up opportunities. We do not have a public housing facility for their livestock, like a school system would with a school barn. So this is just one way to try to continue to open up that door, some of those families and their livestock projects, to be able to help them get down the road to go purchase those products. They can go down to a breeder, we can take that trailer, they can go pick up that project where they may not have been able to before, and so they would have been stuck with maybe somebody local, or may not doing it at all, not being able to get down there. And then two, a lot of our kids probably will never experience a major livestock show. Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, Austin, and usually that's because of the financials and the logistics of getting there. Coming through the Youth Ag program, there was a lot of value to that. And it's amazing to see the looks on kids' faces getting outside the walls of Hood County, seeing the big city, quote unquote. Even with this project, what they get to experience and what they get to see and learn. And some of them having the opportunity to get on the trailer with us and go down the road. Mom and dad aren't having to rent a trailer, have to go buy one. They're able to take advantage of this, take that opportunity, and still get to have that experience as part of their livestock project. So,
Have you talked to Neld on any of this about bidding procedure and all that?
no, sir.
Okay. Okay. So need to go through Neld on all this also.
Okay.
If the court decides to move forward with it and however we can get the money, I guess you need to work with the Neld on the purchase of this item.
Okay.
Is your existing pickup truck going to be able to handle this trailer?
Yes, sir. So that's why I went with the bumper pull option. With the truck I have now, the estimated weight on that number one trailer is just over 2,400. The towing capacity is anywhere from about 5 to 7.9 on the 2018 model that I have. Yes, sir.
On the electric brakes, would
They would
buying
be,
the trailer, they'll fix you up with the truck?
yeah, so they're going to come on those axles, and I believe
See, it's got electric brakes, but you don't have it on your truck, but they'll put,
when you plug that into the pickup, that it just controls those brakes electronically. Your truck doesn't have to be outfitted with that. It'll just brake those. It doesn't have an adjuster in my model, but it does have it will allow the brakes to work in the pickup. Yes, sir.
got it.
The only thing different between the aluminum and the steel is that the dents, but you're not hauling anything like bulls, are you?
No, sir. It would not be for any stock or commercial. It would just be for those youth livestock projects, which those are all just going to be usually market animals. And so bulls being in the breeding side, not many kiddos are getting into that, and that's probably not something we'd venture into regardless. So that's
Carry
why.
them pretty good, do they?
Those bulls, that you load them, they'll take aluminum trailer.
Bull in a china closet.
Trailers too,
Yes,
but
sir.
you're not going to be hauling bulls.
No, sir. Not. That's not my intention at all. No, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, if you get with Nelda, that's what we, I
Yeah.
think that's a good deal because there's,
Wanted Brady to present this. He talked to me about it. And I said, just get the numbers, get 3 or 4 bids, and make sure Neld is involved with it. And if the court so does decide to allow him to buy this, Becky has the numbers where we can put it in the budget. And you're recommending number 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Threw in those other ones, obviously to have those competitive quotes, but put in number 2 in there just to show at $200 reduced, but with number 1 for $200 more than number 2, you're getting thousands worth in value with that. So,
Do you need this to give Nelda, or Becky, do you need this, or?
Nelda probably needs that. I
Okay,
just-
you can have.
I have a copy.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. And
Is
so-
there any way we could call it a COVID trailer?
Now, where's Jay? Yeah.
Sorry.
Put that down.
No, Brett, I guess,
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
previous agent, I guess his kids showed, and he had his own trailer, and when he left, the trailer left with him. Brady brought it up, and I said, I always thought the one Brady pulled was the county's, but it's not. So it's something for the kids, and if the court decides to do so, I think it's a good idea.
I'm 7.5 years from having my own showman and trailer, so got a little bit.
what about the hemp? Has there been any progress on that?
I know I saw an email come, there was the first 2 growers, I guess, in the state had kind of taken off with it on their own whim, because that whole, application process went into effect. So there was 2 people, I guess, in Texas that had put seed in the ground, seeing how they do. Unadvised with, a lot of information, they just kind of went for it. So that was the last email I seen. I haven't looked into it a whole lot, but I did see that notice come across.
What is it?
Yeah, look, this is a new form of revenue. I would think that they need, a lot of states have done that. The hemp grower.
Oh, the hemp, huh? Not the kind they get in Colorado, though, right?
No, not the Colorado hemp. This is agriculture.
Yeah.
But they may have to start resorting to something like that. They do in Oklahoma, Colorado, and they don't know what to do with their money. The Fed banks, the feds don't want it, right? Isn't that what the deal is?
Because without being federally open, you can't have that money go into a federal bank. And so that's a lot of the challenges they face in some of the other states that have opened that up. With those, especially going through Oklahoma, the CBD pop-up shops, the green crosses everywhere, those people that are in a high cash flow market, they can't usually put their money into a federally backed bank because it's not federally accepted.
Center so they can treat all of them.
So it's they're moving a lot of cash, and there's a lot of high stakes with those people that are moving their products and money, because they're usually loading a lot of cash, not having a lot of banking options, or they're hiding that money into large purchases or something. So there's a lot of
Have you heard anything on
challenges.
that, Roger? The hemp?
I've read some of the articles about it and know that they're having some issues with the banks. The FDIC won't cover that, so they can't put it in a regular bank, so.
So we can start out at the ranch. Cash.
Cow market, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the cow market. No, these counties that rely totally on hydrocarbons for their budget on the thing, they're going to be looking for something on. But they still don't, but if it's too hot, if the seeds are too hot, what's the plan right now? They have to destroy the whole field, don't they?
Yeah, so people with TEA have their inspectors, and so they go out and inspect that crop. You have to pull so much of that. The THC concentration is what they test for out of that product. You've got to buy, from what I understand, like a certified seed. So you can't germinate and harvest your own seed to replant. So you're looking at maybe like $1 a seed or something at one point. So there's a lot that comes out of that, a lot of that regulation. And sometimes, hey, how do you, right now, not people just don't pick corn off the side of the road, but they see that kind of plant on the side of the highway going down 35, are people really just going to drive by, or they may stop and see they get lucky on high THC on the product. So a lot of logistics that people haven't really kind of figured out, trying to understand, and the research behind it's just not there in Texas yet as far as, hey, what is it going to cost? So what does it look like to grow here? Our environment, our climate. So.
Usually Oklahoma's so conservative on everything, but yet they open this up. So they just take all the Texans that want to gamble and hemp. Anyway. No, I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying everybody's going to be exploring it.
Kind of like
Anyway.
casinos, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Why
I could,
don't we have them? We go up there and use them.
yeah, go up there and use them. So.
Go up there and smoke.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah. Don't you get a lot of people coming back from Colorado, Sheriff? They bring back their own gummy bears. These just happen to be loaded with THC.
Yeah, there's quite a few over the years that have come back from there and say, I got a medical license for that, so you can't arrest me. Well, they get arrested.
Wrong state.
No medical license here. That's right. Good job. You're doing a good job.
Appreciate it, sir.
Oh, one other project that we may have to do that I'm willing to go ahead and donate the yard around the courthouse to get it lush, like it looks like it's just beautiful, like a lot better than what it is now. So get some volunteers that want to make some extra points up at school and see if you can develop something. That courthouse grass up there could look a lot better.
I got set up right now with Dave Riley to do an irrigation audit at the courthouse, probably next week or so. So after that, we can explore seeding options or something like that, grass.
So it's a little bit lacking in irrigation, is it?
Well, based on the initial tests I did outside the annex building, we may be overwatering. In one station already, when I did the calculations, I'm going to reduce our water by 88% in one station on the annex building. So.
Good.
I like it when I
City
saw
water is
that.
expensive.
Yeah, it was, but what you were doing was really good, I thought.
Rest myself,
Yeah, good job. Okay. All right, good to see you, man. Okay. All right, who's here?
Got a hysterical commission here.
Hysterical? Is that?
Am I up?
Yes.
You're up. Just in time.
Get it. Your timing's great, James.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing us to speak up here. We're asking the same amount we've asked for the last 3 years, which is $5,000. There was a glitch in the Texas Historical Commission down in Austin, and they included the pandemic that didn't allow us to do anything. So the $5,000 that we had that got passed by y'all last year, we didn't use. And as y'all know, in my funding, if we don't use it, you get it back. So there's no loss when we don't use it, and we didn't use it. I've got notes from the marker from the state of Texas saying September 30th, there for sure, crank it back up. I hope so. We have several that we have on board. One, just for example, we have the Comanche Peak, Mitchell Bay is one of them. In Hood County total, there's 55 markers. And I've got a sheet of where they're all listed and everything. In the county of Hood, there's 55 markers. And some are just in dire need, some we are doing just repairs. And thanks to the Sons of the Republic of Texas, they're helping us out tremendously and not charging us anything. They come out and help do some of the work, some of the replacement. Markers alone cost around $1,150. This is per last year. I did not check to see if it's about the same current prices, but that's just the marker itself. That doesn't include the post or the labor to put it in. And the Sons of the Republic of Texas are just gracious, and they're doing all that at no charge to the citizens of Hood County. So if you see anybody there from, I don't know if y'all know Devin Levin and Dan Vanderberg, and then Errol Flannery, who is the great-grandson of David Crockett, is also on that committee, and he's doing assistance also as well. But anyway, we have several markers. The Mitchell band is torn up a little bit. Some of them are just worn out, and we can refurbish those where they look almost brand new. And there's some that we can't repair. They've been shot at. They've got 20 bullet holes in them, and they don't look good. And so those are the ones that we have. This is kind of like my mission statement. It's not one that's official yet, but our goal is to refurbish or replace markers to the original condition, and that's kind of where we're at right there. We're hoping to get it done this year, provided the state of Austin, or Austin lets us get our markers as tame as we have. So that's my pleas that we can get our money back. And like I said, what we don't use, you get back every bit of it.
Historical markers are very interesting. When you go to Point of Interest and read the history of what happened.
It really is.
Yeah. And I enjoy reading. I mean, there's some points you stop and look, oh, I didn't know that happened here. And some of them are in our backyards.
It's funny, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at like surrounding counties with Somerville's and Arath and all that, per capita, we have them just way more markers than they do. And we have probably the oldest markers in probably a 5-county range, just I guess from the time frame. So you're correct. They're great to read. They're a great little history source. And you can learn a lot by just stopping and looking at them. And if anybody ever wants to, I'll be more than glad to print these off to you and give you all each one. There's some really interesting facts about how the markers. Some are a paragraph and some are about a full page of stuff, knowledge there for the markers.
What's contained in the markers? Is it that written information there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It has,
If you,
for instance, it has like the Baker building. It has the Comanche Peak, Daniel House, everything. Like I said, there's 55 in there. And like I said, some, for instance, okay, here's one. The Hood County Courthouse Historic District. It's not a paragraph, it's the whole page there. So it varies in information there. It's all pertinent and it's all factual. And it's, like I said, it's great to read. In fact, I'll go ahead and make y'all a copy.
I would love one.
Yeah,
I really would.
I find it very interesting to see some.
You have a copy in the courthouse there? That would be something.
You know what,
Deb?
I think I do. I think I have one. I actually take this to the visitor center.
Yeah.
Where I work part-time. And I've had some copies because there's a lot of people that want information on the city. And a lot of them are just history buff people that come into our town because they want to know the history involved, and so I've made them copies and have them read these as well.
Has there been any information put out about the Confederate statues that are in these rural counties? Is anything?
You know, Judge, it's an extreme disappointment to us that that subject has even come up. I won't get into my certain feelings about it, but the historical value of the statue is, well, it's phenomenal. And the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, they're actually the ones that put it up in 1913. It's going to be erected the statue, the General Granberry statue. And I have had a little bit of contact with them. I understand there's a petition going around. Personally, I think we ought to have a counter petition because it's strictly a historical. It's nothing of what it's being accused of.
Yeah.
Nothing of what it's being accused of. Nothing.
I agree.
We're still working on it, and hopefully we can get there will be a lot of more common sense people that will understand that this is something of historical value. It has nothing to do with anything that it's being accused of. And I won't even mention that because it ticks me off.
There's a lot of us.
Good.
Keep me informed on that, though, if you would.
Yes,
I
sir.
see you all the time, so.
Yes, sir. I will.
Good deal.
All right. Well,
You have anything, Ms. Kidd?
No, sir.
Okay. You're doing a good job.
yes,
You
sir.
do a
Thank you
good
very much.
job.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Who's next? Is Transit here?
Nature Center and Transit.
Center, Historical Committee?
Roger, do you have capital?
Praise it. Nature, we got the Nature Center here. Caplet, are we through?
Well,
Big county treasurer did.
Roger,
Did go last year.
Roger can come and talk about capital while
Okay.
we're waiting.
All right, let's talk about capital.
She hasn't seen my list, so if she saw my list, she probably wouldn't want me up here, but,
Getting that look, Roger.
yeah.
You want me to have a heart attack?
No.
Started this yesterday, don't want 20 employees. Why is it y'all never give a list to the auditor?
She told me I couldn't even speak today.
No,
Well,
just
I
sit
know
back
what
and
you
be
get up
quiet.
here and do.
One of the things that we always have need for every year is the vehicles, so.
No kidding.
Handing out a list here, and I'll explain it. And the thing with the highlighted stuff on it, that is, comes in our end of the month report every month, and so I just highlighted everything that has. We've got five vehicles over 90,000 miles and 15 over 100,000 miles. And everything that's highlighted is the vehicles. In this sheet, if you're not familiar with it, it's the unit is numbered as we get them, and then it goes across for starting mileage, ending mileage of the month, miles driven that month, gallons used, the total cost, and that's all handled out of Lynn's office, and then who the operator is down on the very end. So if you got any questions about that, then I'd be happy to answer those. But anyway, anything that's highlighted is the high mileage stuff. So
What? Why is Lynn's at the highest cost per mile than anybody else?
he drives around from hiding place to hiding place, hauling cows and doing other things like that. You didn't get one of these?
Do you need one to present your?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So anyway, that just shows you the mileage and how everything adds up from month to month. So this came out of our May end of the month report. So on the other sheet that's stapled together, I put that in the front there. Because of the high mileage units, I've listed on here 6 Tahoes, and we found out that the base cost on those for the law enforcement edition is $34,828. So the total cost would be $208,968. The cost for conversions, it should stay the same. To tear one of the old ones down, take all the lights and sirens and everything off of it is about $500, and then to put it all back into the new vehicle is about $2,500, so about $3,000. So to get them rigged out, $226,968. So that should be a good figure that we can still go with. The variable is there's a slight difference between last year's models and this year's models. We haven't seen them, haven't worked with them, so we're thinking that everything ought to transfer over from the older models to the newer models, but we're not 100% sure, so that might be a change that we might have to buy some adapter kits or something like that. So I wanted to throw that out there. I know times are tough and you're still not looking at borrowing money yet, but I wanted to put that out there, just what we need. Any questions about the vehicles? Last year, you helped us out immensely with the animal control trucks. Transport, we were using trucks. They were cheaper than the Tahoes. They're working out real good. We've got them set up and in use. And if you look down through that list, you can see how many miles they get on them. And they get a lot by traveling back and forth up to the different prisons, Waco, and then up to Wichita Falls and other mental health facilities. So they're getting well used.
Is this list asking for any new vehicles, or is this all replacement?
No, just replacement.
Just replacements?
Yeah, just replacement for the high mileage vehicles.
Right.
So we take the high mileage ones, take them out, swap them out with some of the investigators or people that don't have to drive lights and sirens all the
Is there
time.
any range you use for how many miles you could get out of one, or is it just depending on the car, or you got a standard, or?
I think a standard is, keeping them under 80 or 100,000 miles for the patrol vehicles because of the
need for
the duty, the use that they get with lights and sirens, and need to get there and can't break down, and breakdowns are bad. So we try to take those vehicles that get over that mileage, then move them into investigations and other places, and take those older vehicles, which there's some of those, like if you look down here on the first page, the Unit 247 Investigator Lucky. Yeah, 144,000 miles.
122, 118, there's one with 153,000.
And that Shelley, he's transports 153,000 mileage on that one. So, but they're just road miles. They're not running lights and sirens, so that's why we transition those vehicles into those other positions like that. But then the extreme high mileage, then we'll take them out, and those are the ones that Clint got a vehicle, and maintenance got some vehicles over the years, and try to.
Probation could probably use, I believe she was here yesterday.
Did she say she needed a truck? We don't have any trucks that we're getting rid of, so.
She just needs a transport type vehicle.
Okay, I guess I was listening, but yeah, so there's, Lynn, we've got those vehicles that are in that one lot out there.
That's the ones that we've taken out of service that we'll be selling in the next.
So.
We need to see if she can use it.
So
Those are actually hand-me-downs, aren't they? Some of the ones we took out of development, and somebody else got one.
Development, I handed one down to development, handed one down to maintenance.
Yeah, and so those are the ones that are coming out of there that are going to be just sold, I guess.
Right, and most of them that I have out there have got little problems.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the reason, like you said, to have the problems. That's where we end up coming to you. So we can either replace the vehicles with new vehicles, or end up me asking for more money for maintenance to fix all the problems that we have. So that kind of helps balance it out. So we can still run with the vehicles we have, but the maintenance requests and problems might start going up and up. So that's a balancing act. That's up to you guys to figure out how you want to spend the money. Any other questions about that?
No, I think it's just a good idea to change out some every year, so we don't get hit all at one time. Take a few, I don't know what that number is, but
Well, that's why, I put in the request for 6, so.
For 6. I see, that's not bad. I mean, not good either, but 6 is, you're just getting ahead of it. If you don't, sooner or later, it's going to come up and then you're going to have 12 or 15 at one time, so.
Yeah, and when we get them broke down and the cost to repair a lot of that stuff, if we have engines, transmissions, different things like that, then
6
the
replacements.
maintenance costs go sky high, so that's why I wanted to throw that out there. So the new Tahoe is $34,828, like I said, so rigging them up, rigging them down, and so the total cost for all of that for 6 of them, $226,968 would be
For the
my.
6 vehicles.
For those 6 vehicles.
And really no trade-in value for the ones you're giving up. Those could be, they're going to be handed down somewhere, Lynn?
They would be handed down to investigators,
Get on down till you get the oldest ones and push those out when you,
yeah, like the ones that's in transport, that's
144,000 in that one. 153.
And higher, take to the ones in patrol that are hitting right at that 100,000, move it, just kind of lateral moves down, and then any other departments that might need an extra, or need a vehicle, we're now at, we've been buying these Tahoes since 2012, trying to buy 5 I think it's worked out about every 18 months. So we're getting to the point to where we have some to hand down to other departments that might be able to utilize them until they get to where there's no value at all.
Otherwise, with Renee Bates, then we can get a pretty good price, better than we ever got before on the old auctions, so.
Yep.
So that kind of gives you an idea, and on the very last page too, as a reminder, unfortunately, we drive a lot of miles. So in the month of May, we drove 59,260 miles, so a lot of miles when you're running back and forth and around Hood County and all over the state too, so. Yeah, about 60,000 a month, so times 12, so it all adds up, and fuel cost and all. Moving on to the next thing, I guess we're going to talk about more of the radio stuff on Thursday, in that special called meeting. Where I'm at right now, today, after the radios that I have replaced out of different ways and different funding that we've had, so I need 16 handhelds and 25 mobile radios, so that gives you that cost there. Last year, when I came to you at this time for the budget hearings, I put together a package deal that included enhancing the system, our repeater system, to a simulcast system, and then the fire department radios are in there, the constable radios, DA, everybody included in that. As a county package deal was like $930,000. So some of that's been whittled away at, and after technology has been changing in the last year, so I'm looking at some other options. Hopefully it'll be cheaper to enhance the system, so I don't have all those dollar figures in yet. I'm prepared to bring you a bunch more information on Thursday during that meeting, but just to let you know where I'm at right now, if we bought them at the quoted contract prices right now, then I need $112,223.52 worth of radios to get me up to cover all the vehicles and all the handhelds. So we can talk about more of that on Thursday. On item number 3 down at the bottom of the page, I've got 22 in-car video systems that been in place since I became sheriff. When we got the laptops in there, the Spillman system, the in-car systems, that's been that many years ago, so a lot of those are starting to have problems, starting to fail. They're at end of life. To replace those, that's based on, that $165,000 is based on $7,500 a piece. We're looking at some different options. If we change to some different brands that are out there, like the Axon, Motorola, WatchGuard, the troopers use WatchGuard, so we're looking at all that right now. But the cost is going to be approximately $165,000. They're at end of life. If something goes down, we're in trouble. And when this day and age with the stuff you see every night on the news, then it used to be when I was a deputy, then my word counted for something. But now you got to have the body camera video, the car video, and then it's an uphill battle to get somebody convicted sometimes. So it's very important we keep those in-car systems working. Also on that, 35 body cameras. We got our body cameras originally through a grant through the state. We've had our ups and downs with those. We've had some different issues with them. Everything's working right now, but then I think through Drew had found out that Panasonic is the brand name that we have to match the computers and all that and the camera system in cars, that they weren't going to support that anymore. They were done with them. So that concerns me. But then I got a magazine, a monthly magazine that said their new model that's coming out. So I don't know what they're doing, if they're selling it off or if they're going to cancel it altogether or what. So we've looked at some different brands, like I said, the Axon, Motorola, WatchGuard, different things like that with the body cameras and the in-car system. So 35 body cameras. The cost that we had with those other ones, they're about $1,000 a camera. These are going to be a little bit more because of technology, storage, things of that nature. So that's not 100% definite solid price there, $52,000. Just this morning got a quote from Motorola body cameras and Motorola evidence management system to help incorporate all the videos into things. $116,615 for, I think it was even 30 body cameras, and then the management system was another $141,000. So, I don't shoot the messenger, but that's Motorola. Motorola is pretty high price, so that's what I received just this morning about that. But that's some problems for the future that we need to keep that equipment running because of the protecting my officers and making the cases and getting them through court. So
Do they share cameras when they're on duty? When they're off duty, they leave it and somebody else uses it, or?
well, when they're off duty, they go into a charger. So because of the battery that's embedded into those and they fit into a charging system, it takes all night to get them charged or all day if they're the night shift ones. So we've got one for each of the patrol guys. And my vision of it years ago was to get some for the investigators too when they go out. So the investigators, when they're interviewing people, if they're in the house, then we've got a camera system in there that everything's recorded. But if they go out, they've got to use different kinds of cameras and recorders, pocket recorders that they put in their pockets, different things like that. So it'd be nice to get a few more out there that those guys can swap out. That's why I have the 35 on there. So the total estimated possible cost, $217,000. That's for in-car systems and the body cameras. Right now, today, everything's working, but it's end of life for the in-car systems, and the future of the body cameras is definitely up in the air for the brand that we have that we got on a grant. And finally, so you don't fall asleep up there, my number 4 on the list. Years ago, I got into the 1033 program, got some good equipment with the Humvees and other things through the military surplus. I got an MRAP that can go through like 4 or 5 foot of water, but it's been broke down for a couple of years. So unfortunately, with all the different incidents that we end up getting involved in, just in the last few weeks, we've utilized Somerville County's Bearcat, the armored truck, and I helped them get that grant because I put it in for Hood County back in the day, and they said, well, we don't qualify because we don't have a critical infrastructure in our county, the power plant. So I gave it all the paperwork over to Somerville County, and they got the grant just like that. So I helped them get that, and we utilize it. They allow us to, they bring it up so we can use it. But the amount of calls that we get, this on the back 2 pages, from Linco Arms, the Bearcat, this is a partially refurbished, and it's $196,670. So if we ever find some extra money laying around, or that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and the picture is on the very last page. So this isn't brand new, this is used, but we could utilize something like that. to help serve and protect the good citizens of Hood County, so.
Roger, and all said do, probably, if we're having to cut here and there, would, and I see what you're saying. I mean, I was in favor when you got that NRAP through a federal, I can't remember where you got it.
The 1033.
Would this be one of the last items you would need if you had to cut something?
Yeah, I'm still hoping that we can get the MRAP finished. Brad Snyder with New Scope Marketing, he painted that black MRAP, or the black Humvee that we have, and decked it out, and he said he was going to do the same thing with this MRAP. But the problem is getting it running first. It runs fine. A brand new engine in that thing when we got it, brand new everything, but the brakes it's an air system, but it's not a regular over-the-road truck type system. It's a military system that only military can work on it, and they're really not forthcoming with parts and pieces and information. So we've had some different military mechanics work on it, but it's still parked out at New Scope Marketing out there on east side of Granbury. So I keep hoping that they'll get all that fixed and finished, and then he says he's going to fix it up, paint it up, and all that. So that'd be fantastic if we could get that in operation and running, but it's been broke down basically for 2 years. So we had to put it on a trailer and get it out there to him, so.
Okay.
Appreciate your time. If you got any questions about the mileage or anything goes on in my office, any of our needs that we have, please give me a call, let me know. Looking forward to the meeting on Thursday with the discussion about the radios. We need to get to a higher level as far as the quality and the service in this county for all first responders, and I think we can find some ways to do that less expensive than Motorola. So if there's no other questions, thank you for your time.
Forward to Thursday.
11 o'clock, I'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Is that it?
Road ops. Capital. Or do you want to take a break?
Oh. Mr. Don Lenny.
Which of these are we going to do now? We're going to do some of these now? Go ahead.
You cooked those last night? Whoa.
I'd see this. This list is the total hasn't changed. I had to change priorities on vehicles since last year. Like I said, it's the same. It didn't go up any. I'm just changing vehicles. And to start off, actually, I was going to replace at the bottom where it says replacing. We were going to replace that 1990 Mack truck, but after our situation with dump trucks, we're just going to sell it outright. We have 4 other tractor trucks, so I think that's plenty to get us through. The reason these dump trucks are coming up, they've all, these 3 have all had head work and transmission work. Matter of fact, one of them back in 2015 that we actually had to overhaul the engine at $21,000 in 2015. So this is what my list is. And I've also, to give you a heads up, I've got an agenda item to replace a dump truck. But that's coming out of our fund in 616, our capital outlay that we used for our new building and the pole barn extension. We have enough left over in that account that I could, if the court approves Tuesday, we could purchase a dump truck that doesn't affect this list.
Your revenue account,
Yes, sir.
instead of Fund 55, it's your
Yes, sir.
tax account.
Yes. If completed, this will end all the 2007, 2008, all the 4 dump trucks. Once these are gone, our oldest one is a 2014, so we're looking at least 2026, 2027 before we have to even start looking at replacement on any of those. So most, these are, between the four of them, we've got 151,000 to 183,000 miles on them. They last, the Fords hadn't been as good as the Internationals. Matter of fact, the 7 Internationals we got, the repairs that we've done on it, totaling all them up is one of these, or just right below one of these that we've repaired, had to make repairs. But the one we're looking at trying to replace Tuesday, like I said, the compression is out. It's going to have an overhaul, and I know it's going to be a lot more than 20,000 today. So, like I said, the rest of it hadn't changed. Like I said, the total cost hadn't changed at all since last year.
Can you go back to the truck, you probably want to get that back?
Yes, sir. I got the quote for Tuesday night to give to y'all, or Tuesday morning.
Those are the Ford F-750s?
Yes, sir.
Back when I was working for road office, we had one Ford. I like Fords, but it just wasn't as good as the Chevrolet. Remember that first Ford we got?
Yeah.
It was very good.
But they've been good trucks. These ones that were, it's just time. Either that or we just start putting money into them.
I'm just glad we can get you something now.
Yeah. Yeah, that helps tremendous if I get that approved Tuesday. But
You got that much back?
We'll have to borrow. No.
So the Mack truck, you said you were going to get rid of it.
yeah,
But you're going to replace it.
no.
Well, you're asking for 8 trucks, and you got 8 in the replacement, so how come them, is that right? 3, 4?
No, 3 new dump trucks, and down below one is a 2007 and 2 of them are 2008s. So no, I'm not getting anything extra. I'm just getting rid of a Mack truck that we were going to replace, but I put in a third dump truck in its place.
Was the Mack truck the one you kept on a low boy?
Yeah, now it's hooked up to the grinder.
So
We just,
you're not going to have a low boy?
no, we've already got that to the Sterling.
Okay. It's not going to cut you short, though?
No.
You have to pull one truck off the trailer and run the low boy, right?
Yeah, what we're
Really
doing.
going to be a truck short.
Yeah, well, what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Except the Mack right now is hooked up to the grinder anytime we bring it back to the shop to clean it or service it. But we can pull one of the other tractor trucks, just do that, so.
And whatever you sell these for can go back in capital fund.
Yes, they always have, yeah. Yeah, all this equipment that we're wanting to replace actually was bought with capital outlay money. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Environmental health?
Environmental health, I thought we had that yesterday.
It's capital.
Come on up, Jenny.
Come on, Jeannie. Tell us what you want, what you need.
I just wanted to inform the commissioners that the grant has been finalized and approved, but we have to have it's just under $51,000 up front when we start the process.
Write her a check, James.
And then we will be reimbursed but the process is fixing to start. I have
So that we need to get on the agenda for next Tuesday to allow me to pay for that out of capital projects, because that's where I would have the money. Then it can go back in there. All right, gentlemen?
Yeah. Jenny, but I got to think about it. I said, Jenny, you need to come remind the court of that grant, because we've got to put money up front. This is just a reminder.
Right, but I want to make sure that it
Yes.
goes through court so
Yes.
that I can legally.
So I need to we'll put it on the agenda for next
Yes,
week and then,
to
okay.
pay up front out of capital projects that will be reimbursed to capital projects.
Yes.
The court approved the project, but I just wanted to remind the court and everybody that we got to put up money up front and then get the money back.
I don't think we had an exact amount before.
I don't remember.
I think it's $50,780 was the amount of the grant. Now, we may not use all of that because some of the bids are coming in at a different price.
this is kind of a reminder to court, we got to spend money to get money back. Want to make sure we had that money earmarked. I mean, he's improved the court back a quarter or two ago, so just a reminder for the court.
Yeah, I second Becky's motion for James to write the check on that.
There'll be a rubber one.
That was all I had.
Nelda?
Good morning. I'm coming for the second time ever in 12 years to ask for some money from Fund 55. With the new project of receiving inventory, I need some shelving. I've managed to scrape up a few shelving units, but I'm short about 5. We want to put them into the IT server room so that their products can be put in there for storage. We've already got that room looking really good and cataloged, and this way in the future when something comes in, we can tag it, put it right in there, we know where it's at, and everything is neat and orderly. What I did is, because this is for new budget, I have prices ranging in $100 to $300 a shelving unit. I need 5, so I'd like to ask for $1,500 to buy shelving, not to exceed that. And of course, if I can find a usable heavy-duty one at a lower price than the highest one, I will do that.
Use it for inventory control, so you can see where everything's at, that
Yes. Yes.
If you run this by purchasing.
You know, I kind of talked to her.
But she doesn't listen.
Gee, $1,500, auditor.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'm thinking, let me see.
Concrete boxes, 2x6s.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's good shelving.
Hey, Doc.
If somebody will build it for me, I'll take it.
You can put it in supplies.
all right, we have Fund 73, that's what I was talking to Tone about, because she's been here almost as long as I have. She's been here longer. But I had remembered that there was an account called, what's it called, Tona? Records Management County Officials. Fund 73. And we have used that, and I just thought about this, we have utilized that in the past to buy items like this. County officials need storage, and there's enough of a budget, enough of a balance in there that you could buy those now out of this fund.
Well, that would certainly help me to get everything, progressing forward.
Well, you're already starting to inventory stuff, aren't you? in this?
We are just barely.
Yeah.
I'm about to put the email out to everybody, but I wanted to be there all day. But I wasn't going to be in there yesterday and today, so I didn't want to do that until I'm there, so that if people have questions, they can ask.
This money got in there, 'cause I know Katie saw her pictures of her shelving too. I know what she's fixing to do. She's fixing to ask for something.
Well, she's got money in Fund 68.
No, I'm not going to ask for some. I'm going to offer her the shelving that I have in my office that it's actually movable. And you might want to look at it. It's pretty nice, but I'm getting rid of it because that's where we kept all our files. And we've gone through all our files and it's empty now.
I'd be glad to look at it, and if it doesn't work out, I would still need it, but I'll need to look because it's going to have to hold some weight. So.
Yeah, no, this is
They're
different than the pictures that you saw. So,
That's bad.
yeah, and those are I'm gonna move those out. For scrap, yeah. I was gonna get rid of them so we could put our new files there. So if you want to
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah, I'll look at it. That's
Well, if
fine.
that won't work, we can utilize this money.
There you
There's
go.
plenty of money here.
Got her ducks in a
Okay.
row.
All
So
right.
we don't have to use capital.
Works
And I
for-
just, honestly, just came to me as you went up there.
That's okay. Anything, I'll take anything. I don't care.
Good.
I'm not picky.
Well, yeah, just make sure you get what you need.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Thank you very much.
Melissa, do you want to say anything about, I don't know, can we talk about the Evergreen deal? Can we talk about that, since we got time?
That's just a working document.
Okay.
Let's wait.
Ms. Wade? Okay.
Drew, do you have capital?
No.
Oh, come on.
Nope, not doing it. Mr. Maintenance guy, do you have anything?
Mr. Riley?
What about Tyler?
You gotta come up and speak. You can't speak from back there.
And you can't bring Lynn with you either.
Good morning, sir.
How is everybody today? All right. I was going through some stuff and there was a few things. I know there was some questions on, and I haven't discussed this with Melissa yet, but you know, County Court of Law was concerned about their carpet and things of that nature. I had, right before this shutdown of the county and everything, I got a bid to do that work. That bid was for carpet and some tile work, just new baseboard and that. I'm not as prepared as I should be. $13,422.10. Now this bid is from the end of February, so I will need to update that bid.
What's the total square footage on that?
It's going to be 1,698 square feet with 380 linear foot of base. And then the tile area is 72 square feet.
The tile is one they're putting in front of the sink to keep.
Right there where the sink
Yeah.
is at, we've had several issues with plumbing in the past. The drains got clogged or whatever and out on the floor.
Is that roof leaking that caused all this stuff?
I've been told that there was a roof leak before my time. I can't find any documentation on that. I don't have anything on it.
So we can't prove that we had hail damage or?
Well, I'm looking, yeah, I can't prove anything at this point. Now, not that there's nothing there. We need to investigate it further.
That's about $8 a foot for tear out and put back?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, that's that. Also, I have another issue I want to talk to y'all about, and it's about my my custodial crew. They work, I've got 3 ladies that work the Justice Center, Annex 1, Annex 3, adult probation, and juvenile probation. I don't know if y'all have seen them, but I have a lot. Those ladies don't have any way to carry all the trash, and the dumpster is at the northwest corner of this building. There's a lot of trash, a lot of stuff. I have one vehicle for custodial, but it's normally in Acton, and I've got 2 ladies that work over there, and they're going over to Acton, the library, the old courthouse. So they have a vehicle. Now, I'm not asking for a vehicle for those ladies, but what I'd like to get is a utility vehicle, something such as a side-by-side, a mule, if you will. And there's a lot of trash in this immediate area, and they're pushing it.
You know, it's funny, Jay, we got 2 of them sitting over here in the parking lot, the tires rotting off of them, and one constable will not let us use them. It really ticks me off. We got 2 side by side sitting over here in your storage that the tires are rotting off, and we asked him if we could use them before, and he told us no. Jay tried to make a deal with this guy that I would maintain them, keep them up, keep the tires on them, if I could use them for the girls. And that just burns my rear end that they're sitting over there. Their tires are just rotting off of them. They're not being used. Constable 4 has them.
Have you talked to the constable?
When I inquired into them, they were acquired and they were to be used for the school resource officers, is what I was told.
Well, that's out of the window now, that's over with.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was like
Jay has
a
tried to
1 or
talk
2
to
year
him and
period.
use them,
that
he won't let him.
Once that's up, then.
And it got brought up in court here a while back. Bruce brought the issue up, and no.
Does Constable 4 own those trailers?
He got them through one of them federal
surplus
surplus
vote.
deals. And after all that took place, I got Delton. I said, Delton, try to find us one where we can get one for them. But it's ridiculous to have 2 over there not being used, that he could use them and keep them maintained. And then when the constable needed them, he could come and get them. But that's not happening. Am I right or wrong?
That's correct. I'd offered up, and I don't pretend to know the details on them, but I offered up, I said, I wanted one. I'll maintain it, keep the battery up, keep it full of fuel, and if out of my budget, I'll repair any repairs it may need. I don't know. I'm sure the batteries are dead. I'm sure the tires are getting bad. But they're good enough vehicles that the ladies can carry their trash out there and they're not pushing it across in a wheelbarrow.
How long have you been sitting over there idle, Sheriff? Do you know?
I think they got those maybe even a year ago.
They're still there and never been moved, right?
Yes, they are still there.
Check with him.
Yeah. I mean, Jay's gonna keep, the worst thing you can do to vehicles, let it sit idle.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'll cover the cost of repairs. I mean, I'm not asking.
And I got Delton looking, and he's trying to find one, but I mean, the trick is, your last chief, what was your last chief named? Biff Temple. I had him looking for one for him years ago, and every time he'd find one, it'd be gone. I mean, they don't last very long on the list.
What is it? What are they?
They're Kubotas, the ones that they have down there, and they're perfect for what they need because the ladies don't have to get up in the back of the truck, drag the trash out. It just makes it safer and easier for them to do. Because at times during the year, we get a lot of shredding. I'm not complaining. We get a lot of shredding. That's a lot of bags of trash, and then I look up and I see them pushing a wheelbarrow across the parking lot, and so we'll get, we'll try to, if somebody's around, we'll grab them, get a truck and take it for them, but we can't always be around to take it for them. I'm just trying to make it a little easier on the ladies. It's hot in the summer.
Yeah.
Going across that asphalt.
Cold in the winter.
Anyway, I mean, I didn't know he was gonna bring that up, because it's been brought up before and we got denied, so it really aggravates me. They're sitting over there and nobody's using them, and Jay's trying to lower the olive branch. I'll keep them up. I'll keep the tires up, maintenance up,
Yeah, I
oil
mean,
changes and all that stuff.
If we keep them up, keep them ready to go, all you gotta do is come get it if you need it. in
So
the event.
have you been given a reason why you can't get to them?
Well, at the time, I haven't went back and talked. This has been probably a year ago I asked about it, and they were supposed to be for the school resource officers to use at the schools, so I
Well, that's gone.
But
I figured,
that ship sailed, so.
Yeah, okay.
So there shouldn't be any reason that the county can't utilize them at this point.
Well, they belong to the county anyway. Right?
In reality, no. In reality, yes.
It depends on it depends. You got to read the contract. Because some equipment, after 1 year, it becomes your property. Some equipment doesn't.
Right.
So we'd have to see what it's categorized as.
Okay.
I know the sheriff, I think it was the sheriff, got us that forklift, and it's under their name, but we kept it out at road ops, and road ops used it. I mean, it's a sheriff, I mean, team players, that's what I'm talking about. Roger's a team player, he got it, he needs it every once in a while, but the road ops guys get to use it.
Well, we just signed off on the what do they call it, LSHO, or whatever that contract is to procure those types of items. We just signed off on that last Commissioners Court.
Anyway.
So my question is, if you cannot utilize that equipment, what's the cost?
We're looking at, and I don't have it's not in the co-op, so I'll have to bid it out, but just what I've received so far, is going to be right at 10,000.
Does it have the capacity to pull a little trailer or have a bed on the back?
It's got a bed on the back, and that was the whole idea behind it. And it's not one of the great big ones, but it's gasoline powered, you know.
Kawasaki Mule?
It's a Kawasaki Mule.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And, I mean, I'd need to bid this thing out to get the best price. I've reached out, and I haven't got anything back really, so I'm still kind of waiting on that. But for the prices that I got,
Hunting in Colorado, they go everywhere.
were sticker price, so I'm sure we can get something a little less.
Well, possession's 9/10 of the law. I mean, it didn't belong to any individual, it belongs to the county, right?
You going to
If
talk to
nobody's
Chad?
using it,
Judge, you going to talk to Chad?
yes, I'll be glad to, I'll talk to him today.
Okay.
I'll talk to him.
That'll
You
work.
just need one, or do you need both of them?
Well,
You need both, Jay.
I'm asking for one.
Ask for two.
But if you maintain.
But if I ask for two, I will do the maintenance and I will bring them both up to running condition and.
Those things are heavy, and it is hot, and it rains
I mean, why not
sometimes, and
keep 'em both running?
sometimes, yeah.
Well,
You like
that's
both?
my thoughts. I didn't want to be greedy.
Still not taking them from them, they're still there for the constables. to
Right,
need 'em.
right, and we'll have it let's say there's an issue in the county, a lost child or something like
Whatever.
that, and we need to get out in the country, I mean, which really works into my next item, but anyway, we could
Sure.
utilize them.
We got a trailer we can haul them around with? Probably sheriff does.
Well, that's my next item. Okay, yeah.
Utility trailer.
My next item, we have trailers available to us and we borrow them all the time. And right now we're using adult probation trailers. And what happens is a lot of times we'll buy, if we're doing some work somewhere, we'll load it full of material and we'll take it and set it somewhere and work off the trailer basically. Adult probation needs those trailers all the time. Like one of them we're using for brush and stuff that comes out of the master gardener's area and that, and it ties it up. So I went out, looked on buy board, and I found a 16-foot pipe top trailer with a ramp. And, you know, it's a 7,000 GVW trailer, so, you know, two 3,500-pound axles, ramp. We have a large scissor lift. We can put that on it. Our lawnmower, if we need to move our lawnmower. And then, hey, if I had two side-by-sides, I could put them on there. And so, you know, I'm looking at $3,200 for a trailer. The maintenance department does not have a trailer that we can use. And
Sure.
so and I've got the quote for it, and it's on a co-op, and I've been pricing them, and they price anywhere from $2,600 to $3,200. This particular trailer is $3,200, but it's through buy board. And
Tandem axle.
tandem axle, bulldog hitch. It's a good one. It's not one of the lighter trailers. So.
You would think of all the departments in the county, maintenance would be the #1 department that needed a trailer.
Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody's good to loan us one when we need it. So then when we need it, we go get it, and then we got to unload it and take it back. And it's a convenience thing. But it would be handy to have, especially with a side-by-side if it was needed somewhere else in the county. So.
What kind of secret account do you have, Becky, we could get $3,200?
We can put it on the agenda, and that can get processed in the next court. That's not we'll pay it out of capital. That's not a big expense. Shouldn't be a problem, but just make sure, this is just a hearing. Nothing would be approved in this meeting.
Yeah.
So next, get it on the agenda today, because I know she needs to have everything by tomorrow,
Okay.
and that won't be a problem.
Call Alicia, in my office, Dell will put it on the next agenda, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
We got,
And
we'll see about getting those Kubotas all. Yeah.
I don't know if we need to get that in the court also. I don't
It's
know if
like
we
a
need to.
house. If you don't use a house, it
That's
just
not a
starts
bad idea.
deteriorating.
Put that on the court and just,
now,
after you talk to Chad, put it on the court and we'll
Yeah.
make some arrangement for you. Maintenance to use them, and they still belong to the constable,
yes, sir.
or something.
Thank you. That'll work. And I did a little reevaluating under the circumstances of the cutbacks and everything. I was going to ask y'all for a couple more trucks, but I've reevaluated that situation and I've taken them off. So we'll not, maybe next year.
Come over for a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's what you have in your building maintenance. You think you're gonna use all that? Because you could utilize that, it's not that much.
I can, and I probably will. That was my intentions all along.
Buy
to
that
talk to
trailer out there.
Okay, yeah.
That's
I
what I
just
would
didn't
do.
know it's getting in the hot part of
It
the
is, but
spending.
you're okay in other areas too. We can move money, but the more we can get done without hitting capital, the better.
Okay.
And then don't worry,
He
if something
wanted to
comes up,
deal
I'll
with
make
me
sure
one
you're all
time.
right.
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Got
get that out of
Murphy
your
with me,
budget.
and
I was gonna visit with you.
because
I
I
just
was
wanted to get it
focusing
out.
on him.
Yeah, just
There
let
were
them know, I
5
think we got a better plan.
law enforcement officers around us.
Okay, so basically, that's all I'm asking for on capital, except. Can we discuss the roof on the jail at this time? Would you like to talk about that?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I've got a preliminary price on replacing the LEC, and there's quite a bit of damage up there. And I don't think any of that damage is due to hail or anything like that. Maybe it was and it didn't get caught. I don't know. I've had somebody look at it, and
A roofer or an insurance?
that's not insurance, it was a roofer.
Well, that's what you need
So
first. You need a roofer to
I
tell you
just
whether or
went
not it's
out
damaged.
and did it. So they gave me 2 prices on that roof. And I know we've got some issues. We do have some leaks now and then. I'm sure the sheriff can attest to that. And with the situation we're in, I didn't know what you wanted to do, but I've got 2 prices. Now, I've got one for repairs, and that's only going to prolong the life of that roof for 5 years. And that's it. And that's $48,000 for repairs, just on the damage and the breaches. And that's basically what they would do, is they're going to come up there and they would detach any sealant, anything around the pitch pans, and basically they're just going to go up there and apply like a tar and a rock or whatever, just to kind of patch anything that might be leaking. The replacement cost is the big one. And to replace that roof on the jail is $575,000. Now, that's just one bid. I don't have anything else. I was trying to get an idea of what it would take.
What's on there now?
It's going to be asphalt. It's that bitumen.
How many squares is it?
Okay, so the square footage is 54,800 is what that jail is.
So
And
550 squares.
Yes, sir. It's a lot. And all the air conditioning, with the exception of 6 units, is on the roof. So you've got a lot of breaches in that roof that have to be worked around.
Is that the same type of roof that's on Annex 3?
Yes, sir. It's exactly the same thing that's on that, the very same thing that's on this roof. I'm fixing to have this roof evaluated, but I'm just doing evaluation. I'm just trying to get ahead of it. I'm sorry?
Had any leaks here that you know of?
At the jail, we
No,
had...
here at the Justice Center.
We did, I've heard, We did. We had one in county court of law, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've had one at the county attorney's office at one.
You had any leaks in your space, Tona?
I have no place to plug it. Sir.
Okay.
Is that a roof leak or AC kind of overflowing?
Yeah, now I know in the past we have had AC issues, but we've mitigated a lot of that.
Condensation of air conditioning?
Well, the problem is with condensation on air conditioners, when you do your PMs, you have to put a chemical in those pitch pans on those because it grows this green moss and then all of a sudden it stops it up. And so we've kind of mitigated that. We haven't had as much trouble in the last couple of years.
You still get debris sometimes in there, though. It can clog your, sometimes it's just simply clogging your line up.
Yeah.
Then your pan overflows, and just like happened above my office.
Yeah, I had a large squirrel problem up there at one time, and so they were...
Large squirrels are a large problem.
Actually, I had both, but they got...
Sorry, you opened the door for
They got to putting pecans in all the vents, so anyway, we got that straight. We got that straight. Before I forget it, they're up there putting your air conditioner back together this morning.
Okay, I've been constructively evicted, so...
I understand. So hopefully this afternoon you'll be in good shape.
Good, thanks.
So anyway, I wanted to get this out because I'm trying to be a little proactive on these roofs and trying to get ahead of the game if I can. I know this is a lot of money and I don't know what we're going to do in the future.
Well, 50,000 though buys 5 years, right?
That's what they're saying, yes, sir.
I mean, if they're going to go up there and patch it and repair it and warranty it, then it's 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to find out on the warranty part, and I will. But they're saying the expected life after repair is 5 years. So that would, get us to 2026, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know that you want to spend $500,000 on
A roof that may be a new jail in the prospect.
That's what I'm saying.
But what we do with that building when we build a new jail, I mean, still got to be fixed or tear it down. And I appreciate you keeping us in the loop.
Why don't you, Becky, we'll put this on the capital request, doesn't even have to do it, but that way we get a picture of what we need, both of them, either repaired or, so it goes into the capital request, so we'll add it all up and Drew gets through spending all of our money, we'll see what we got left.
Was that roofer said, has he been in town long? Is this a local Bradbury roofer?
Actually, guys, and I hate to say this is the guys that did the 2 buildings that we just did. They looked at it. Yeah.
Workshop.
The data's good. We had some issues with the contractors working for them, so I feel pretty good this is accurate, and I'd be more than happy to make copies, give this to everybody, let you all look through it, see what you think. I about fell over when I saw it, so I was...
Well, that price is not bad for that many squares, so...
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the...
And for 5 years, if there's some sort of warranty on it for 5 years, that gets you down, that kicks that can pretty far down the road.
There's a lot of roofers out here in Granbury that go around and look at roofs, and say it's damaged, whether it isn't or isn't, and go through the insurance. I mean, somebody that does that, I know there's a lot of them that do it.
Yeah.
They do it to all of our houses, and they come out and look at you, oh yeah, yours is damaged and the insurance pay for it, so I ought to make...
How old is the roof on there?
How old?
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking it's the original roof.
So if that's the case, they're going to be, it doesn't matter, they're going to beat you down on the depreciation, and it's not going to have any value.
We're all under
very
the
little.
impression that's the original roof. Now, I know there's been some work done, I think, and the sheriff was telling me about a tower fell on it one time, knocked a hole in it, and it was repaired. And I can see patches where small areas had been patched over in other places, as well as where the tower fell on it. But, man, we're pushing our luck on this thing.
What do you think, Sheriff? Yeah, that is the original roof on that thing, and in Memorial Day 2001, I was in the building when the tower on the south end, the top half of it fell over and fell onto the squad room. So that was patched and replaced with that 3-foot wide or 4-foot wide rolled roof. Otherwise, it's the original roof from 1995, so. Been through a lot of hailstorms and stuff.
Figures here, what Sheriff asked for and what Rudolph asked for is $1,237,860.56.
Not counting the roofs.
Yeah, not counting the roof. So, that's, no, it's not cheap. And
Not counting Drew.
It doesn't mean we have to approve it, but we need to see it and know what we're up against.
okay. Well,
Put it on there.
I'll forward this, I have this electronically. I will forward this to everybody here today so you can look at
Yeah.
it. See.
Make sure you get a copy to Becky so she can get it on.
I will.
So we can look at the,
Okay. I'll send them to you too. No problem. That's all I got, guys.
you mean you're done, huh? Goodness.
Well, no.
Started.
I'm just starting. But that's a good start, and that'll help me out.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you all. All right. Thanks, Becky.
Uh-oh, here comes Drew again.
You can actually sigh. Like I told Becky, I'm actually not going to pursue capital this year. So you got off the hook. Like I told Becky, it really boils down to manpower is what I need because, like I said yesterday, the average wait time to fix something is about a day. And if I take, of course, manpower to fix daily things and put them into the projects that we still currently have, that could double or triple your time to a half a week of something being down. And so right now it's a struggle to finish the projects we already have and trying to maintain. So I'm not pursuing any capital this next year.
What's your projected, how many employees do you need or asking for?
Like I said yesterday, 2, but really I need 3. But if I can get 2, that is correct. Yes, sir. I need another network engineer and I need another help desk.
You have the numbers, what the salary would be, so Becky could plug that in?
The senior engineer would probably be a 10, step 10, grade 10, step 10, which comes out to be about, I think it's a little under $54,000 a year. And then the help desk would be a grade 9, step 6, which is a little over $46,000, which we normally, grade 10, step 10.
And then the second one?
Would be a grade 9, step 6.
Grade 9.
Yes. So.
Where do you draw from people like that, got that kind of experience? Is there people out there that
Yes, that's how we've been handling, everyone that's come in so far. And again, for some reason, I can't get rid of my employees. They don't want to leave. So I think it works well.
too nice to them?
I guess so. So we have 9 and 1 for the sheriff. So 10 total IT, but 9 for my department, and then 1 that me and the sheriff kind of share that we coordinate with.
Evergreen's going to have Evergreen come and evaluate you and your people, or Evergreen?
No.
They
They haven't, but
Hey, do you happen to know what percentage of the county's budget now is being spent on IT stuff? On all the Tyler, Netflix, not Netflix.
Netflix? That's
Net
awesome.
data.
Don't say that because now everyone's going to be asking me for Netflix in their office.
All the software and hardware that you deal with to run the county, what percentage of the total budget are we at with that? Do you know? Have a number offhand?
I don't have a number percentage-wise, but I do know we are the third biggest budget in the county underneath the sheriff. I believe is number 1, and then road ops is number 2, and then we're 3.
Hey, you're just in time, Bruce.
But no, I do not have a percentage.
Okay, thank you.
So, sigh of relief. So, no capital, Bruce. You're welcome. You can breathe easy.
Capital servers and stuff like that, if you needed to,
Yes.
Tyler, for timekeeping,
oh, yeah,
I mean, it's stuff like that.
something that should be done.
yeah.
Now, next year, it'll be fun. I have next year's numbers.
Elections and that stuff wouldn't come under you? If we have to, new election stuff, would
Nope.
that'd be under?
That would be under Cricket still, the election administrator.
Is she here?
I don't think, no, I don't see her.
She mentioned a little bit, but I don't think she really gave us the full, she mentioned it.
Come out of capital, the new voting equipment,
Yep.
So maybe Jay might actually get his roof if you don't have to spend anything on IT.
Okay. Thanks, Drew. Who have we missed?
One item I'd like to remind the court of, and I talked to Becky about a little bit, is the fire marshal's office. He has in the budget for 2 deputies, and when I talked to Jeff Young, he said if we went to the emergency management deal, he would give up a deputy. So we got 2 deputies in there, so we're going to get to delete 1 from the fire marshal's office.
budget, that's why it's in there. I'll remove it.
Mike Stafford in fire.
Yes.
So that would leave 1 to go
Move over.
to emergency management coordinator.
Yeah. So we had 2 budgeted, and I forgot about it, and talked to Jeff. He said, yeah, he said, I agree to that. If we get him out of emergency management deal, he could operate with 1 deputy. So there's a little money right there that, I mean, we gained 1 position and gave up another one, so it's about the same, but just wanted to make the court aware that the fire marshal would just have 1 deputy.
Is that it?
See anybody else?
All those in favor of adjourning the first round of the budget meetings? Say aye. All opposed? Okay.